Good morning and welcome to Musings on a Monday. This is an opportunity where I will give a short reflection and for the week on a topical issue. You're welcome to listen, to respond, to debate, to disagree, to agree, or to just think over the little thought for the day. My name's Trevor. I'm the serving minister at Fenton Church of the Nazarene. The views I give are my own. I don't really speak on behalf of them in that sense, but you can catch these musings on a Monday on our Facebook page. You just go to Fenton Church of the Nazarene, or I'll put it on some community formats as well. So I don't know about you, but the first thing I was thinking about over this weekend, apart from the royal funeral, which was quite moving and poignant, I thought, is the beginning of the bombardment of literature that's come through the door from the various political parties, advertising their manifestos for the local elections and mayoral elections too in some places. I don't know about you, but I really am grateful for all public servants. I'm grateful for the public service, that the Queen's husband gave for all of his life and helping support others in so many good causes. I'm also very thankful for the people that work at local council level who often give their lives very sacrificially, not for their power and not for their own prestige, as sometimes, of course, that can happen, but often councils are given, a bad press. But all the councillors I know and worked with throughout my ministry have been really committed to the community and really committed to bringing improvements. So I certainly would encourage you to vote, in your council elections. The question that was asked of me is this, as material began to come through the door, was like, what party would Jesus vote for? Maybe he'd be an independent, because he was a bit radical. Or what party would Jesus ask us to vote for? I saw that on a blog recently, and I kind of was thinking about it over this weekend for this first musings over a mug. So what I want to say is I think it's great that we can vote and have got the freedom to vote. I think it's wonderful we can do that. And I'm really thankful for all those willing to stand for public service and for the hard work that they do. Of course, I want to say that actually there are Christians and people of other faiths who will vote for different parties. There's no monopoly on every issue that some party has or some person has. We've all got good things, I think, to offer, and some bits maybe of blind spots that others can complement us with. The truth I would say is that Jesus didn't really set out to establish a political party, but he did have values that were important to him, reflected in a couple of things that I'd like to share with you. From Luke's Gospel, he sets out what's called his manifesto in a place called Nazareth, as he was trying to say, look, these are the things that I'm about. He said, the Spirit of God is on me because he's anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He sent me to proclaim freedom and liberation for those in prisons. He sent me to recover the sight for those that are blind, to release the oppressed, to proclaim the good news of favor for all people. And that's found in Luke chapter 4. And in Matthew chapter 26, it tells us about the same Jesus who is seen as the king in this story, will bring all the people before him and declare those that are righteous. And the question is, who is righteous in his eyes? Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will say, well, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and come to visit you? The king will reply, I tell you, whatever you did for one of these, of my brothers or sisters, then you did that for me. And so I think what I'd like to say as I kind of close this short musing on a Monday, which will be available for each Monday, is that, whatever political party we're going to vote for, or whatever it is that we're going to try and see as the best kind of manifesto, we can debate back and forward, and debate and thinking it over is an important issue. And although I don't want to say an answer to the question, I think Jesus would be this in terms of his own political persuasion, or to say that he encourages everybody to vote for one party, what I do want to say is let's vote for those and work for the values represented in these particular stories. Let's think about offering good news to the poor. Let's think about working with those who find themselves in prisons, whether mental, physical, spiritual, whatever they are, imprisoned in their lives, maybe trapped in poverty or trapped in addiction or trapped in other things. Let's look to bring sight to the recovery for the blind and those that are struggling and can't see a way forward. Let's proclaim like good news to all of the people. What would it be like to bring good news and our communities be telling good news stories and celebrating those stories and helping others to experience the joy of a better life? What about those that are hungry and feeding them? We're glad about the people that do this. What it is to offer hospitality so that people could be, welcomed in, strangers would have a place. So there'd be a concern for the homeless and those who don't have homes. There'd be a concern for those who don't have enough, who are trapped in economic poverty. These are the things that are important to Jesus. Strangers are befriended. People that are unwell, mentally or physically, are taken care of. The bereavement are given, those who are bereaved are given support. Those that are needing a visit are given a visit. Those that are in difficulty are not forgotten. These are the values of the kingdom. And so I don't know about you, but as I weigh up the different options, I'll be thinking about what is it that I feel the important things. And for me on this Musings on a Monday, I kind of feel these are the values that represent the types of things that I want to support. And so as you kind of think about what you're going to do in local elections, I encourage you to vote and to look for those candidates and what they're standing for and see what values that you're really wanting to see in your community. So I don't know exactly who's going to win and who's going to, come out trumps in the electoral system. But I tell you what, anybody who has these values that I've read about, well, certainly they'll get my vote.